Ladies and gentlemen, you ran into
Pauline.
Pauline from Pauline and Apparel is one of the epic bands from, the Continental, I would say.
Epic.
What time frame did you play there at the Continental? I mean, what years?
Early 80s. I'll tell you what. I know everyone says this, but literally we were one of the first original bands to play there because it went from like a dining club to an original music club in 1980. We were there when Bud paid you the door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember it was the one place that you could basically go and get $100 for one set at least. Now, you said it was a dining club. Did you ever eat at the Continental? Did they serve anything?
They did. They had mushrooms.
Dusty mushrooms, right? Yeah, I understand.
No, they did. They had, fried mushrooms and French fries and fried food, various fried
Fish with dust on it. No.
Johnny Resnick was a bar back when I played there. Yeah, it's true.
Now, one of your favorite memories from playing at the Continental, one of your favorite shows, one of your memories?
We used to do this thing where I would, the band would start to play, and I would come up like halfway through the first song and try and get through the crowd. And one time I forgot something in the back room, and you would not believe the things I found people doing in the back room.
No, I believe it. It wasn't me. It might have been.
But I'm going to leave that to your imagination. But oh my gosh, I forgot my keys or something. And I walk back and like, oh.
This is what happens when I leave? the band Pauline and Apparel, how did it get started?
Well, I was in a band called The Scooters, and Tim Swatala, drummer, that actually passed away, but he decided I should sing in a band with him and asked, and it's not really that earth-shattering, but we decided that Buffalo needed a band with a female singer that played original music. And back then, there weren't any. So it was a fun sort of ground to have for a while. So we played, McVan's in the Schuper House.
McVan's, oh my God, I remember playing McVan's. But Pauline and the Apparel, I remember coming in and seeing you guys. You always had such an energetic show, especially you on stage.
Yeah, gotta dance, gotta move. If I don't move, not happening.
Not happening. That's cool. All right, thanks for talking to us.
Tries to fail. Way much older than you his allegiance towards lunatics and fools.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ran into Bud Redding, of course, not the Grand Poobah. What did you call yourself last year?
Oh, I'm not really sure what I'm calling myself. The unlucky stiff that's doing this show.
Yeah, I don't remember last year at all. Well, some.
I was the Supreme Allied Commander.
That's it. You do remember. Excellent. So this year, as far as the turnout goes, how'd you think it came out?
It's a great turnout. I mean, we're around 800 or some people, whatever. Right. So I'm just glad that those people that came are having such a great time.
Oh yeah, it isn't a great night. And a great lineup of bands that you have this evening.
Yeah, I tried to get some bands from the early 80s, the late 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. So I think I got all the eras and the genres covered.
Right. Now, as far as what I've seen some stuff online, you're basically wondering whether or not to do it every year or every 5 years or something like that. What's your biggest challenge with that, doing it anyway?
I don't know if you can get the same enthusiasm every year.
Right.
It's like you don't have your high school reunion every year.
No.
So maybe maybe we'll do it in 5 years, maybe
Right.
3 years. You know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, unless they like suck you back in, you're in the mafia, and they just pull you back in every year. I don't know.
That's what happened this year.
Is that right?
So many people contacted me, messaged Facebook, like everything else. Like, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I'm like, all right, so we did it. It turned out really well.
No, the enemies too. How did you get that together? That's amazing.
It was really on them. I approached them because they didn't play last year, and it was one of those bands I really wanted to play.
Right.
And then this year they were able to get some rehearsals together, and all get together and stuff, and it just turned out great.
Yeah, it was cool to see Pauline and the Apparel's up there. We interviewed her too.
Pauline was awesome tonight. We went on right at my band played right after that, and I was like, oh, this is like, why did I book it this way? Like, this is a tough act.
I know
to
you're
follow.
the Grand Poobah, the coordinator of this whole thing. You should have been able to call the shot there, but whatever.
I blew that one.
right.
But I was backstage, and I was talking to some of my friends, and I'm like, who's that hot chick down there? I was like, oh, damn, that's Pauline.
No, that was your wife. No, I'm not kidding. So anyway, for the upcoming year, so people are going to be asking when's it going to come up again.
I'm looking to do it in 5 years.
Right.
Like 2019.
Okay. All right.
But, we'll see what happens.
And as far as like strange stories at the Continental, what do you got for me?
All right. I booked KMFDM. It was like one of the first national, international acts I booked. And we were watching. We went up on the roof so we could watch them through the skylight.
Right.
And the door locked. And I was up there with my wife and my friend Christine, and we stood up on the roof for like an hour watching them. And like, we wanted to go back in, but we were locked out, and it was like, February or something.
Yeah. What year was that? You couldn't text anybody to let you in, I guess.
Right. It was like 93, 94 or something.
Yeah. Just kick a hole in the roof. That's cool. All right, bud. Thanks for talking to us, man. Excellent job once again.
Thank you. And Bob, I appreciate everything you do, man.
All right.
When I got problems, I call home, but they just disconnected my telephone. Took my soul in my JVC, possessed my color. On the trunk, got bottles of blues, go spend my name round the front page. Solitaire, secret and invasion, got pissed away for tax evasion. Stop, going to the top, count to 10, cause I'm Mr. Wayne. Stop, going to the top, count to 10, cause I'm Mr. Wayne. Stop, going to the top, count to 10, cause I'm Mr. Wayne.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we ran into legendary Bill Moore.
Hello, bro. Good. How you doing, man?
All right, now you were telling me, just a little while off mic that, many of the bands that you played at the Continental, what was the first time you played there?
First time I played, I actually opened for myself. I played for the opening band and the headliner.
Really?
Yep. Opening day of the Continental. First time any band played.
Now, the other bands that you played with through the years, what year was that you were talking about?
Oh God, Celibates, Electroman, the Headhunters. So many. I can't even. I've got a list of about 23, and I'd say 3/4 of them played the Continental.
Well, you've held up pretty well.
Well, thank you.
And I seen you up there tonight playing the bongos. That was awesome, man.
Oh, I sat in with Nelstaff for a few songs. They're good friends of mine. So.
We used to play them back in the day, right?
I did record a little bit with them, but never on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, McVans, anyway, I remember playing there long ago, too. I heard you play there.
Oh yeah, McVans is great. That was the first place I played.
Now, what bands did you normally play with, as far as the early days?
That first gig was, I played with White on White opening for Paper Faces.
Right.
Paper Faces did pretty well here at the Continental for a long time. Celibates after that.
Now, the Celibates, how did that form, anyway?
Actually, a few of the guys worked the Unistage together. David Kane, Terry Sullivan, Kent Weber, and they were friends of mine. They asked me to play some electronic percussion with them.
Playing with Mark Freeland, how was that?
Fantastic. That was always an event, man, every time. Electronics was David Kane, Mark, and myself. Sometimes Kent sat in, but that was all like oldies, covers. That was fun. Electroman, huge.
I remember when that first came out, being on WBNY with Rich Wall. Remember playing all you guys? He goes, oh, here's another one from Electroman. He was the one hitting you guys pretty hard on BNY.
It was great. They played the records. They played local stuff. The big stations wouldn't do it, and they gave us an outlet,
BNY was great. I remember working there. It was the one station you could play whatever the heck you want, and mostly we had, I think it was like 10 after the hours dedicated towards local music.
Yeah, they had student DJs, and they didn't have a corporation telling them what to play. So.
Yeah. No, but it was mandatory by Buff State that we do that. At least the people in charge of BNY remember that. So that's very cool.
Cool, very cool. Yeah. Tina Peel's on this weekend, man, Sunday.
I know.
Yeah,
I was gonna go back on, but I used to do a show on BNY.
Yeah.
Well, Beelzebub's sleeping right now. Anyway, Bill, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Bob.
Excellent.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure for me as well.
an old buddy of mine from BNY we ran into, of course.
Oh, it's Big Mike Waters. How you doing? Mike Death Waters.
Friends on FB and all that cool stuff. Hey, WBNY brings back memories of the Continental and stuff like that. How are they connected? People want to know.
WBNY really supported the Continental before actually anybody did. You know, there wasn't any kind of a radio exposure for any of the bands that played at the Continental. So, I mean, that's if you wanted the scoop on the Continental, it was on 91.3. Original alternative, much like the Continental, much like Bob Casey.
And Mike Waters, of course. Yes, many a college party and many cool times, man.
Absolutely, Bob.
No, we're not going to mention puke.
No, we will not mention projectile vomiting.
I love eating projectile vomit, though. If you can catch it in your mouth, it's like a talent, you know.
That's right. Let's go, Buffalo!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we ran into
Steve Myers.
Hey, Steve. The Continental. What are your fondest memories of the Continental? Obviously, for people who don't know, what bands did you play in? This is a very cool musician used to play there.
I was in a band called the Intergalactic Burnt Toast. Right. And it was this band that was actually born at WBNY. Yes. I was there at the very beginning of it, and Tina Peel was a good friend of mine. She had a friend named Kathy Carfagna, and they had this idea. It was very silly, but very fun. And we played with Green Jello one time at the Tom Calderon variety show.
Oh yeah, Tommy from Tom. He basically went into become. Didn't he have something to do with MTV later on?
Yeah, he was the president of MTV. Just a phenomenal guy. You know, he gave me my first radio show. Just really loved him. You know.
Hey, last year you were here. Who'd you play with last year?
Played last year with Cowboys of Scotland, and that was the band that I formed with Bud Redding, who organized the show. And it was the way that started was. The year that Mark Freeland died, I ran into him at the Elmwood Art Festival, and he was playing with David Kane as electronics. And I said, I was your biggest fan. You guys, Funk Monsters and Woman, we were all buddies. I grew up in Kenmore. We hung out and played a lot and stuff. We should really bring that back. And that was how Cowboys of Scotland started. Bud said, I'm playing at this big show we're doing at the ballroom. And we did the song Cowboys of Scotland, and we did a painting on stage where we did one of Mark's paintings called Cowboys of Scotland. So after that, we just started calling ourselves that and kind of grew from there.
And what's the first time, you played the Continental before? What was the era? When did you play the Continental?
Well, that was about 85, 86, somewhere around there. And we opened for Green Jello, which was really cool because when we showed up, we had toast, and we had a song called Butter Me Baby. And we didn't have a drummer yet at that time, but the drummer from Green Jello played with us, and we were throwing toast out at the audience. And then when Green Jello came on, everyone was throwing Jello at the band. Nice. It was hilarious.
Sweet.
It was really great. Yeah, and the Continental was just so much fun, hanging out upstairs, dancing like a maniac, and seeing all the bizarre costumes, and just people from all walks of life, And every corner of that place had something to reveal.
All right, man, thanks for talking to us.
Okay, thank you, Rob. All right.
So butter me, baby, and I'll buzz you. Butter me, baby, the whole night.